Hi friends, today we are discuss about the type of classifications. The classification which means categorizing of organisms or material on different basis. We know that there are different type of classifications we can see in the world. Organisms are classified, plant groups are classified, animal groups are classified like that. There are different type of classifications is there. Today we are discuss about three main type of classifications. First one is artificial classification. Artificial classification, which means that the classification of organisms on the basis of one or two easily observable characters. That is what is called artificial classification. That means classification of organisms on the basis of two easily observable morphological characters. In this classification, the overall characters which is not considered. This methods that was first developed by Pliny the Elder. He classified the organisms on the basis of habit and habitat. Linus system of classification is the one of the most suitable example for the artificial system of classification. Whereas in the case of artificial classification, there are few drawbacks there. We know that it's a first type of classification. We are considering only two or more characters, only one or two characters. So we are discuss about one of most of the important drawback of artificial classifications. The organism which are close affinities, which are placed in different groups. If the organisms which have similar characters, they are placed in different groups. This is one of the most important major drawback of artificial classification. Then another second one is the organism which have different affinities that get placed in same group. Okay, the organism which have different characters but it is placed in same group. That is the another drawback of artificial classification. Then third drawback, there is no evolutionary evidence or there is no evolutionary relationship for this type of classification. Thus, another major drawback of this artificial classification, the characters which are selected for this artificial classification of organisms that may be changed due to environmental changes. These are the most important drawback of artificial classification. Okay, the second type of classification is natural system of classification. The natural system of classification is the classification of organism on the basis of group of characters. In the case of artificial classification, we are consider only one or two morphological characters, but in this case of natural system of classification, we are consider a group of characters or a group of morphological characters. We are consider five or so. We are consider more morphological characters, not one or two. We are select a group of characters. Such a type of classifications is called natural system of classification. Second point, this system of classification is proposed by a scientist Schimper, then followed by Eichler. The Schimper that proposed this natural type of classification. After that, the scientist Eichler that giving more details about this type of classification. One of the most suitable example for this natural system of classification is the Bentham-Hooker classification. We know that Bentham-Hooker classification, one of the most important and accepted type of classification of plants. So the Bentham-Hooker classification is the type of classification is the best example for the natural system of classification. Then there's a few more advantages in the case of artificial type of classification. There's a few drawback is there, whereas in this case of natural system of classification, there is some advantages is there. It bring about natural relationship among the organisms. If you classify the organism on the basis of this natural relationship, this one group that contain a group of organism, they have almost similar characters. So we can say the first important advantage of this natural system of classification is that it bring natural relationship among the organisms. Then second point is that the closely related organisms which are placed in a same group. In the case of during the time of artificial system of classification, we say that one of the most important drawback of artificial system of classification is that closely related organisms which are placed in different group. Whereas in this case of natural system of classification, the closely related organisms which are placed in same group. That's the another important advantages of natural system of classification. Then third type of classification is phylogenetic classification. Then third type of classification is phylogenetic system of classification. In the case of phylogenetic system of classification is the type of classification of organisms mainly based on their evolutionary relationship. On the basis of organism, on the basis of their evolutionary relationship is called phylogenetic system of classification. One of the most important drawback of this type of classification is due to the lack of fossil records. This type of classification is very difficult to classifying the organisms. Okay friends, that's all about the different type of classification. I think this is useful for the students, those who are studying high school, higher secondary, and the people preparing for various competitive examination like SET, CATET, etc. If you like this video tutorial, please subscribe my channel and share with your friends. Thank you very much.